with that, we will turn to page 3. Sorry, page 4. Setting up open motivation, as we did this morning. Refuge field, Bodhicitta field, and the purpose of this practice. And for the refuge field, visualize Bodhisattva Muni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the space in front of us. And how you visualize them, that makes a whole difference. That they are so loving, caring, and embracing. And Bodhicitta field, visualize your two grandparents on your two sides, all your family members, including your children, and all dear mother sentient beings living on the side, everyone here in Thosamling, Nunnery, all the beings in this world, in the universe, the human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, hell beings, god and goddesses, spirits, Gandharvas, and how you visualize them. That you're very loving, caring, embracing towards them, like the way the mother feels towards her children. And the purpose of this class is to awaken the true nature of your mind, or the ultimate treasure that each one of us has, the treasure of the total fearlessness and infinite happiness. And how to identify that and unravel that is by removing the mental dirt, and the treasure will be seen within. And remove the mental dirt and dirt depend on the remedies that we resort to. Remedies is of two kinds. First, the wisdom, the only liberating path, which is the wisdom of emptiness. And what drives this wisdom to be very powerful, that is the Bodhicitta, unconditional love of Bodhicitta, the very courageous mind to become Buddha for the benefit of all human sentient beings. And that must be supported by renunciation, wanting to get away from all your miseries. And for that, the study, reflection, meditation is required. But it's my imagining that you are leading this recitation and all beings are joining us. So with this in mind, let us turn to page 4. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving, so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving, so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving, so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanje Juda Zoge Chonam La Chanju Bardu Dani Gyatsuch Dage Shinso Jibe Sonam Ji Dola Benjire Sanje Dubare Shu Sanje Juda Zoge Chonam Chanju Bardu Dani Gyatsuch Dage Shinso Jibe Sonam Ji Dola Benjire Sanje Dubare Shu Sanje Juda Zoge Chonam La Chanju Bardu Dani Gyatsuch Dage Shinso Jibe Sonam Ji Dola Benjire Sanje Dubare Shu. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no rising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no separateness and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, reaches freedom of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all these hearers seek a best reach complete peace, who through the knowledge of all past course, those help my migrants achieve the aims of the world, and who through the have subdued and expanded varieties of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings. The teachers who guide them to protect her to your administrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is adorned with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who 10 nations for the forever noble light rays. To you the Buddha make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I chant the motto full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaya swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaya swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaya swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of causes as well is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear line and non-composite. Such is nectar-like Dharma I have discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching, in silence I'll return to the woods. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is a professional wisdom, which is unborn, unseen, and has the nature of space. Its object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times appear obeisance. The 4 sins of Buddha's teachings. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in that Guru. By the sound of the vibrant Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings. Extends billions of eons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay. That the most of how many of you know Thosamling Nunnery before you came to this center? How many don't know about it? How many did not know about it? You know it already. Okay. So basically, this Nunnery was founded by Venerable Samala, and who I learned that she first approached His Holiness the Dalai Lama, informing His Holiness that for the monks there's one places to go, but for nuns, if you don't speak Tibetan, then you don't find place to go. So what should we do? His Holiness said, you set up a nunnery. And then she embarked on this journey to start the nunnery. So courageously started this, and I still remember from many years ago that the Venerable Samala, she has been putting all her efforts for that purpose, from the tiny details to the the big task of building the Gompa, then the residences, the other buildings. So it is all Samala who single-handedly took the initiative. This is so precious. So all these many years I was just dreaming of coming here, and finally after I think 14, 15 years, finally I saw what something is, and I should thank. So I learned from Venerable Tenzin that Venerable is extremely humble, and they do not dare to, just tell somebody to please come and so forth. So humble, thinking that others might be so busy, and we are just nothing. So finally I came here, and this is, I think, the Venerable Bhadran's audacity. That Venerable Bhadran was the director of the Root Institute in Bodh Gaya, and I've been visiting there for several years. And Samala, all our efforts. So I'm so glad that today the audience is very different. Also young faces, meaning like in 20s, I can see many of you, most of you are in your 20s, is very refreshing. His Holiness oftentimes described that the audience makes a whole difference. When the audience is so young, you also feel energetic. Okay, thank you, Venerable Samala, thank you so much. And Venerable Bhadran, thank you so much. And also Venerable Tenzin there, and all the other nuns. This is so precious. In fact, Venerable Samala's whole purpose for her, under the blessings of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, that this institute in Nunnery came into being. And this is a place where we need to support. In fact, everywhere people are supporting each other, but here, Thosamling, we really need. I really wholeheartedly felt that we need to do something to support this institute. It's so precious and it's very beautiful. I did not really expect this. The beautiful environment, the ambience is so beautiful, and I really appreciate all of you, particularly the young, all of us, and the young people, and those of us like me, my age. So, but keep in mind that you are the youngest of the lifespan that you're left with. You agree with me or not? You are the youngest now of the lifespan that you're left with. So let's not forget this. So with this in mind, just let us see how to say the support, because that finally we talk about the women empowerment. At the same time, if somebody who took the whole initiative for the service of the women Dhamma practitioners, and if we just show blind eye to them, this is not fair. So why not we also become more courageous enough to support these projects, these noble projects, started by Venerable Samala, and I wholeheartedly, deep inside, I respect, I adore you for all your efforts for all these many years. Thank you so much. And all the nuns for being here, and all the participants here. Thank you. And so with this in mind, teachings of the Buddha, how the Indian masters teach, and how in Tibet the tradition developed to teach in taking a slightly different form. The content matters is just the same, but the style of teaching slightly there's a little bit of change there. In Tibet, one version of given teachings on the basis of what is known as the basis, the path, and the results, which is in Tibetan Shi Lam Desum. Shi Lam Desum. Shi is the basis, then the path, and the result. This is again a very beautiful way of teaching. Finally, we all have some aspiration in our mind. How many of you have some aspiration in your mind? Resents? Some aspiration that I like to see my future more, the beautiful, or future nicer, more the prosperous, successful, in Dharma practice and so forth. Resents? Some aspiration for the future. Of course, that is so important, without which then the person cannot operate in this world. The person doesn't really live long. So with the aspiration, the hope, it survives the person. And in fact, it was many years ago that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, when invited to give a public address in Delhi University, that at the end of the address, during the personal session, one young girl asked His Holiness, so what's the purpose of life? And I'm sure many of you have the same question. What's the purpose of life? Then His Holiness, without any second thought, he said that we live on hope. How many live on hope, Resents? We live on hope. And we hope for happiness. This is so beautiful articulation. We live in hope and we hope for happiness. Therefore, the purpose of life is a genuine happiness. A genuine happiness. Okay, so with this in mind, if this is the purpose of life, a genuine happiness, again the question would be, what is the genuine happiness? This is a huge philosophical question, and of course we're going to discuss it more extensively. Genuine happiness. And when you speak about genuine happiness, that becomes a goal. That becomes a goal. And then in order to achieve, say the question is genuine happiness, is there something achievable? Is there something achievable? This is the question. So in other words, what I would suggest is that all what we are studying, let us all try to ground our learning on rational thinking, on reasoning, on a sound logical reasoning. That is so important. And it doesn't mean that we get all the sound reasons here in this hall. No, that's not a connotation. The point is that we try our best to ground on sound logical reasoning for whatever we're learning here. So with this in mind, this is the approach of the Buddha's teachings. And I remember some of you, but most of you are like new faces in my eyes, except for a few. That was back in the 2003 when I was in Cambridge, England, for my professions in English studies there. I used to meet. I do not really meet the English experts. I only meet the physicists. And some of you may be wondering why he went to learn English and he instead of meeting with the physicists all the time, not the English linguists or the English experts. And I met many physicists, and one of which is what's the English word? Little eccentric. No, Stephen, of course not. I was thinking of meeting him, but he was terribly having a terrible health issue because of which I could not meet him. So he was a little eccentric in nature. The physicist, exceptionally bright, and I don't know how many of you can actually converse with him. How many of you can last conversing with him for 2 minutes? Because the moment you utter a sentence, he will say that there's internal contradiction there. Right? You cannot. Then the next line you cannot utter, because he could easily see in internal contradiction what he is saying. So one time he said that in this world only physics is education. Okay, how many of you are from physics? How many of you are from education? According to him. There's one physicist there, MTech there, two physicists. Who else? No one. Okay, Okay, one over there. Yeah. That's it. Only three. There are 2, 3 girls. That's it. Okay. So what is that in this world only physics is education, which means all the rest of us we are not from education. Then he said then I said, okay, why? He said, because only physics allows you to have critical thinking. All others are imitation of the earlier teachers. This is what he said. Then I told him, okay, at least you have given a reason. So listen to what the Buddha has to say. So I quoted the Buddha, bhikshus and the wise people. Just as the goldsmith tests the purity of the gold by cutting, rubbing and burning the gold, you should also examine my words and put them to practice, not simply because you respect me. Then he remained silent for a few seconds. And he said, oh, the Buddha must have been a great physicist. Okay, so this should be an approach. Try our best to logically understand what we are, what I'm trying to explain to you, what you are learning. So meanwhile, let's also have a little patience, right? Don't expect that everything must be resolved right now. This is the attitude of the young boys and girls, right? So more experienced people, they'll wait, because oftentimes many of the successive words, they respond to your earlier questions, earlier inquiries. So we can be a little patient, and towards the end, somebody should be there to tell me this. Anyone who's going to do that? Nobody.
10 minutes before?
10 minutes before. Good. Okay, but in case if Ben is missing, then there should be somebody else. Okay, one over there. What is your name?
Irene.
Huh?
Irene.
Lene.
Irene.
Irene. Irene and Abhishek? Okay. Abhishek ji, Irene and Ben. 3 of them, right? So they will give this indication. The last 10 minutes. Okay, so you have questions, you hold till that point, and at times when there's a flow there in my talk where I'm in a little rush sometimes, a little rush to cover some materials, and then I may say the continuum. So don't worry, let it flow. Whereas if I sense that now is the time to entertain questions, I'll stop there, right there, and you can ask questions. It doesn't mean that in between you are not allowed to say one word you are not sure what it means, and you get stuck there. Then you don't have to wait till the last 10 minutes. You can raise your hand and ask me, right? But those things which you are pretty confident that this will be covered in the following lines on the following and the sessions, let us be a little patient. Okay, so we're talking about the basis, the path, and the results. And each one of us, we should have some aspiration in our mind. We should have. If you don't have the aspiration, then you become like a dead person. Because what survives us, it is that the hope, as your soul has beautifully indicated, that we should have some hope for the future, some indication. And whatever aspiration that you might have. Anyone who likes to share with us, what kind of aspirations do you have? Or what do you like to have? Anyone? Very quick. Very quick.
Yeah.
Just raise hand. Yes. Peace. Anyone else? Very quick. Quick. Yeah.
Become a better person.
Become a better person. Wonderful. Anyone else? Yes.
Help benefit other beings.
Help benefit other beings. Wonderful. And Farizala? You raise hand?
No.
Okay. Yes.
Let go of my fear.
Let go of?
My fear.
My fear. Let go of my fear. Very good. Anyone else? Yes.
To accept myself as I am.
Say it again.
To accept myself as I am.
To accept myself as I am, which means I'm not going to grow anymore.
No.
Okay, accept my abilities as I have. Ability to grow, I'll accept it. Good. Anyone else? Yes.
Stay in the present moment as much as possible.
To stay in the present moment, but the present moment passes.
Yeah, so that's why I need to stay as much as possible. To be in the present moment as much as possible.
Okay, to be in the present moment as much as possible so that
So that I will be more aware what is happening now and then.
what should be aware of
Aware of everything surrounding me and how
why should you be aware of everything around you?
because I always get distracted and I do not
What's the problem? Don't make your life so miserable. I feel so distracted. What's the problem if you're distracted? If it's distracted and if it makes you happy, do it. Why should you be afraid of being distracted? Anyone else? Yes.
I want to be consistent in my Dharma learning.
Or why should you be consistent with Dharma learnings?
Because I feel that sometimes, the motivation is here, then sometimes, it's like a roller coaster.
Roller coaster also is a little fun.
I don't really like it because it's just like, I don't know how to keep my motivation always high.
No, why should you keep the motivation high? Why? Don't make your life boring.
It's just like the enthusiasm in Buddhism is like not as when I first started learning the Buddhism, the Dharma. Then after that it goes down and then
What's your name?
Qingling.
Tsingling. So in fact, I'm sure you'll discover that if there are so many Tsinglings here, you'll discover that, right? If I tell you how many you have made your timetable when you were in school, very rigid timetables, closer to his exam. Raise hands, those who made rigid timetables. And how many of the flopped? Raise hands. All these are Tsinglings. You're getting it? Motivation is so high, in the actual application, it goes down. Okay, so do we see that, for example, that I want to keep the motivation high? Why? I want to be in the present moment. Why? And I want to help others. Why? Okay, this is interesting. Why you want to help others? The lady there?
I want to be beneficial to others. If they need any help, if they need...
What's your name?
Lakshmi.
Lakshmi, this is so precious. You want to benefit, you want to be beneficial to others. Why do you want to benefit others? Why?
I think it's in my own self-interest.
No. I did not ask whether this was self-interest. Why you want to help others?
Because I've seen other people who are in need of help, who want support, who want...
So when you see others who want support, then you want to give help.
Give help.
Why do you want to give help?
Because they need it. They are asking for it.
But there are so many other people, when they see somebody else in need of help, instead of giving, they feel so happy to do it. Just observe them suffering. Why you want to give help? Okay. And but who else will give answer? What did you say?
Because
Peace.
it makes me happy, like genuine happiness. If I can help others, if I can benefit others.
What did you say?
Huh?
What did you say?
I said it makes me also happy if I can.
No. The first time when I asked you, what is your aspiration in your life?
To become a better person.
To be a better person. Why should you become a better person?
Because it makes me feel better actually.
What is that if you feel better?
But it's wisely selfish.
Okay, so which means that you want to be happy.
Yeah.
Okay, peace. Why you want peace?
I don't know any better way or any other way to being happy.
Okay, to be happy. Okay, do you see that although people differ in their positions, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that, but when I ask the second question, everybody boils down to the same thing, I want happiness. I don't want the anxiety. I don't want anxiety, I don't want misery, I want happiness. Okay, did you see that this is what we are all common about? Raise hands. Good. In other words, everybody is seeking to get away from miseries and to have the maximum happiness. This is what everybody is seeking. But they see the happiness in different forms. Something that by being in the present moment, you get peace, you get happiness. and something that if I am able to do my Dharma practice well, to maintain the motivation high all the time, it makes me happy. Something that when I'm able to help others, it makes me happy. Some people, what did you say? The girl here, what did you say?
To be a better person.
Better person. By becoming a better person, I feel happier. Okay, so we see that when I ask the second question, why do you want to be a better person? Why do you want to help others? So forth, it makes me happy. So underlying reason that underscores all the aspirations is that I want to be happy. Okay, now tell me, who is that person who likes to be happy? The Buddhist or non-Buddhist?
Everybody.
Everybody. And what about the young ones or the non-young ones? Huh? Both, male, female, both. Everyone wants to have they get away from miseries and to have the maximum happiness. This is reality. Okay, now for information is that when I speak about to get away from miseries and to have the maximum happiness. Okay, for this we need to keep in mind that we're talking about what? The aspiration. In other words, everyone has aspiration to get away from miseries and to have the max happiness. Let's not forget this. Having said this, that as I said earlier, that who is that person who wants to get away from miseries and to have the happiness? Boys, girls, both. Buddhists or non-Buddhists, both. Or the Asians or non-Asians, both. Okay, in other words, everyone seeks to get away from suffering and to have the maximum happiness. So for information, now this is in a very secular sense. Now to make it, in the Buddhist context, more technically speaking, what we call as to get away from fears. To get away from fears or fearlessness. The state of fearlessness which everybody is seeking is technically referred to as nirvana. The fearlessness that we are seeking is technically referred to as nirvana. So if I begin by saying that we all seek nirvana, we all seek Buddhahood, then the people who are non-Buddhists, they will say that no one, these are the Buddhist concept. But this is where, if you know the Dharma so well, then the conventional world and your spirituality, these two are seen as one and the same thing. But if you don't know the concept so well, then you see the two worlds as two different worlds. Okay, from Buddhist point of view, you don't have to say Buddhist point of view. Everybody is seeking to get away from miseries, and everybody is seeking happiness. This is reality. You don't have to say from Buddhist point of view. So from Buddhist point of view, if you eat the food, then your hunger will go away. From Buddhist point of view, right? No, it's a universal fact. So this is where you can distinguish between someone who knows the Dharma well versus who knows the Dharma very superficially. Know the Dharma well, you see that you can just speak from a universal point of view. Universally speaking, everybody seeks to get away from miseries and everybody seeks to have maximum happiness. How many agree with me? Raise hands. Good. So the first part, to get away from miseries, is known as the ultimate state is the fearlessness. Fearlessness. So this fearlessness, in secular sense, if I ask anybody, Buddhists, Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Jains, Baha'is, Sikhs, and the Parsis or non-believers, everybody will say, yes, I seek the fearlessness. But fearlessness is known as nirvana. You're getting it? In technical sense, it is known as nirvana. Let's not forget it. And later on, don't just believe in me. You must get understanding that, okay, actually it means, nirvana means it's not a Buddhist concept. Nirvana means a state where your fear is removed completely. Your misery becomes zero. This is the meaning of the nirvana. This is what the conviction that you need to gain over time. One. Number two, that we want happiness. Okay, if I ask you what degree of happiness do you want, what's the answer? 10%? Huh? Okay, Dr. Mona Lisa? 100%. How many agree with Dr. Mona Lisa presents? 100%. Okay, so some of you may not be raising your hands thinking that it's not achievable. This is not a question. Whether or not it's achievable, this is not a question. Our question is, how many you want the maximum happiness or the 100% happiness? This is the question. So, once you say yes, then the next question is it doable? Is it achievable? You're getting it? Okay. So, how many agree with me that everybody seeks the maximum happiness? If possible, 100% happiness. Raise hands. Okay. This, what we call as 100% happiness, this is in a secular sense, in a secular context. In the Dharma context, technically speaking, it is known as Buddhahood. Infinite happiness is known as Buddhahood. But Buddhahood is Buddhism? No. Buddhahood means Buddha. Buddha means the awakened one. Awakened. It's not necessary that only if you're a Buddhist you can become awakened. Anybody can be awakened. In fact, everyone has a right to become awakened, and everyone has the seed of awakening. Everyone. Even if you are anti-Buddhist, you still have the seed of awakening within you. So, that seed, when awakened, you become the awakened one. In Sanskrit, it is known as Buddha. So, Buddhahood is a state where you have become fully awakened. Okay, so that infinite happiness that we are talking about, this in technical sense is referred to as Buddhahood. Okay, let's not forget it. But so now things become clear to us that okay, I have aspiration. So these two aspirations. What are the two aspirations in your life? Raise hands. Quick, somebody. Yes, Hans. Okay, how many of you? Yes, so the lady over there. Fearlessness and infinite happiness, right? So now we're able to articulate what we are seeking. Otherwise, not too clear what is the purpose of my life, right? So we are so happy when I cited this girl, asked his students, what's the purpose of life? Then you all very happy. This is the same question of mine. Okay, now the answer becomes clear to your mind. What's the purpose of life? To look for fearlessness and infinite happiness. These two things. Are these two same or different? These two are not same. These two are different. These two are different. These two are not same. And we must learn how these two are different in the next 7 days. Okay, we must learn how these two are not the same. These two are different. Okay, so we have now the two goals. How we started this teaching was on the basis of how the Tibetan masters in the past, they explained the Buddha's teachings on the basis of the three concepts: the basis, the path, and the results. So the results or what you aspire to attain, the fearlessness and the infinite happiness, and technically referred to as Nirvana and Buddhahood. These are the two results that we are seeking. Those two results become very clear. The next is that, okay, let me say that let's say, so like this tissue, if I squeeze this tissue paper, do you expect oil coming out of that? If I squeeze this tissue paper, oil comes out or not? Does not come out. Does not come out. Whereas if I squeeze a handful of sunflower seeds, oil comes out, not come out? Yes, it does come out. Why was the difference? Anyone? Raise hands. Yes.
Has the potential
Okay, the handful of sunflower seeds has the potential for the oil, whereas this tissue paper doesn't have the potential. Oh, good. So likewise, what you said is that I want to attain fearlessness, I want to attain infinite happiness. Do you have the potential within you? This question. If you don't have the potential, no matter how much you put effort, no matter how much effort that you put in, your effort will be in vain. Do you have the potential? Answer is yes. Everyone has the potential to attain fearlessness and infinite happiness. And what is this potential known as? This potential is technically known as Buddha nature. It doesn't mean that, okay, so now I have a seed of Buddhism. This is not the connotation. It simply means the seed of awakening. Seed of awakening is within every one of you. Whether you are Buddhist or not Buddhist, it doesn't matter. Whether male or female, it doesn't matter. Everyone has this seed of perfection within you. Let's not forget it. So this seed is known as Buddha nature and also referred to as the Tathagata Garbha. Tathagata meaning the Buddha and the Garbha meaning the essence of the Buddhahood. Tathagata Garbha. Okay. So what would be your next question? So what I said is that we all have this seed, the potential within us. So the reality, the ground reality that we are in is that we have this potential to attain these two goals. This potential is known as the Buddha nature. Right? You have the Buddha nature. So what will be your next job? You are able to articulate what you are seeking. Fearlessness and infinite happiness. In technical terms, Nirvana and Buddhahood. So the goal has become very clear, and even the reality, the basis on which, on the basis of which we can attain this. Yes, there's some basis there within us. The Buddha nature is within us. So now, from here, what would you ask me? How what? How to get there? How to get to the two goals? How to get to two goals? If you have the potential, this is so important. If you have the potential inside, potential to experience fearlessness and infinite happiness, if you have the potential, so why don't I see this potential within me? I don't see this, right? Saying this potential must be so beautiful, it must be so pure. But look at each one of our mind. For example, let's say somebody says, what is the stupid person you are? You are wasting so much of time here in Thosamling, right? Why did you go there? Why did you not go to the pubs? Why don't you come with me to the pubs, right? Why are you going? It's so boring. And you may feel so agitated right there. So look at this, our mental state, easily becoming irritable, the agitated, sad, anxietic. So this is the nature of my mind. When you look at mind, this is what a mind is like. And some people say the Monday syndrome. You know what Monday syndrome is? You have seen the Monday, how the people look on the face Monday morning, right? Then what about Friday evenings? Very happy Monday morning, everybody as well, like they never smile in their life, right? This is the Monday syndrome. So again, these are all the reflections of your mind. So look at the mind. We see that we don't see the Buddha nature inside me, right? Okay. So for this, don't just believe in what we are learning. Don't just believe. Learn them first. Learn and subject them to analysis to make sure that what you've learned makes sense to you. Not necessarily right now, here and there, here and then, but make sure that you understand it eventually, the reasons. Okay, so So if the Buddha nature is there, how do I know that I have the Buddha nature? I don't see that within me. My mind, somebody says, what a stupid person, I easily become so angry. And somebody says, you are nice, you are an amazing person. And then I think it's so like, I'm the superstar in the world. So this is the problem with the mind. Our mind is so fickle, is so easily fluctuated, ups, downs, like roller coaster. Right? This is the problem of a mind. So what is the Buddha nature? This question. So for this, I'd like to give you a very simple analogy with the more detailed analogy later to be followed. First, let me say that a gold, the nature of the gold is to glow, at least in the daytime. The nature of the gold is to glow. But when the gold is mixed with the mud, it doesn't glow. Even in the daytime, it doesn't glow. It doesn't mean that the gold is not there, and in the eyes of ordinary people like us, we may throw the whole mass, whole thing, saying that this is mud. But the gold experts will not throw this. You say there's gold here. And how do you know that there's gold here? Anyone? How do you know that there's gold here?
Remove the mud.
Just remove the mud. Remove the mud, and as you remove the mud more and more, the gold inside will start to glow more and more. You agree? Likewise, the gold inside us is there. The gold, the Tathagata Garbha, or the Buddha nature is within each one of us. Just remove the mental dirt more and more, the mud more and more, mental mud more and more, then the Buddha nature inside will start to glow. Right? Say you become a more sensible person, you become a more compassionate person, you become more, say, the very calm person. You don't become easily the irritable or easily agitated person. So these are all the indications that the mud is being removed. Okay, so from this we come to get a sense, okay, although I don't demonstrate any quality of the Buddha nature right now, but if this is example, then it makes sense that still I can have the Buddha nature. Now, I'd like to give you this more detailed the analogy. Let's say that, okay, when is it hottest here in Thosamling? May. What temperature?
Depends. Can be 37.
37. Let's say the 37 is pleasant or hot? Hot, okay. So those from Delhi will say that, wow, this is very pleasant. Penzole will say that it's very pleasant, wow. Okay, so recently I was in the Europe, and people were saying, warning me, Geshe-la, there's going to be heat wave, be careful. I said, what's the heat wave? It's very hot. Like what temperature? 34, 35. I said, wow, it's very pleasant. Thank you so much. I must go out to enjoy the heat wave. Yeah. Okay. So let's say that we all have been here in Thosamling for the last many years. Never gone out of this beautiful the place, and there's a heat wave. 37. 37. We all feel so hot and so thirsty, and there's no option for you are thirsty. Water, there's no option for water. And the first entry, you see the water running water. How many you saw that? Running water when you first entered walking. Raise hands? Okay. Then your friend, just with a glass, took a glass of water from there. You want to drink it? Okay, no way. Why not? It's not drinkable. Right? So everywhere in the world, wherever you go in Delhi, we have the very famous Yamuna river, right, passing by. and not at all drinkable. Okay, so what I do is that I put this, I subject this water to a purification process. Purification process such as ultrafiltration, reverse osmosis, and so forth, and very clean water comes out. Okay, now this water, it came out of that dirty water. So how many like to drink it now? Everybody wants to drink it. So why? So okay, so this cleaner water came from where? This is my question. Did it come from Mount Kailash or came from this dirty river? It came from the dirty river. You getting it? Let's not forget this example. The second example that I'd like to give you is, let's say, this brass, the singing ball, and somebody saw a golden singing ball somewhere else, and the person said, I want a golden singing ball. So what do? Is you try to remove the brass particles. You try to remove the brass particles. What happens? The singing ball will disappear, right? And the dirty water, you remove the dirt, the water did not disappear. Instead, the water became very clean. But with the singing ball, brass singing ball, remove the brass particles. Instead of the singing ball becoming golden singing ball, the singing ball disappears. Okay, what's the difference between these two examples? Anyone? What's the difference? In the first example, instead of water disappearing, water becomes very clean. You do not add clean water from elsewhere. It became very clean. Whereas with the second example, instead of the singing ball becoming golden singing ball, the singing ball disappeared. Why? Anyone? Quick. Raise over there.
The water was the object of purification, but the singing bowl, the brass singing bowl doesn't have gold in it, so...
Okay, good. Yes, you can answer. I want somebody to articulate it. Yes, over there.
Inherent nature of water.
Say it again. Inherent nature of water is dirty?
It's pure and pure.
Okay, so you have to articulate it. You have to make the sentence complete. Also, inherent, the nature of the water is pure.
It's pure in the first nature.
However dirty the water is, but the inherent nature, the true nature of the water is not dirty, it is so pure. So what is saying? How many agree with your name? Huh? How many agree with Deshanla? Raise hands. Okay, most of you agree with Deshanla. Good. So, however dirty the water is, remove the dirt and the purity comes out from within. You don't bring the purity from elsewhere. The purity is right there as the true nature. So what you're doing is as you remove the dirt, if you remove the dirt, what you're doing is that you are separating the true nature of the water and the adventitious nature of the water. You getting it? As you remove the dirt, what are you doing? You are separating the true nature, two natures. The water has two natures. One is the true nature and the other one is adventitious nature. So you are separating the two. Remove the dirt, you are removing the adventitious nature. Then what is left? Only the true nature is left. What is the true nature? It's so pure. The purity manifests from within. So likewise, our mind, however dirty, however defiled our mind is, the true nature of mind is extremely pure. Remove the metal dirt and the purity of the mind manifests on its own. You don't have to look for purity, you don't have to look for Buddhahood from somewhere else. It's right there within you. It's for this reason that the great 7th century great master by the name Acharya Dharmakirti, in his text, Pramana Vartika chapter 2, there he said that the true nature of mind is clear light. The true nature of the mind is clear light, and the mental defilements are adventitious in nature. The true nature of the mind is clear light, and the mental defilements are adventitious in nature. Okay, so our mind, however dirty our mind is, however defiled our mind is, the true nature of mind is so pure. And if you gain this conviction, then you will realize that everyone has the same potential. The true nature of the mind of each of the sentient beings, whether somebody is a male, female, young, old, educated, uneducated, this caste, that caste, everyone, the true nature of the mind is so pure that there's no difference in that. Because of this, the Buddha has been extremely courageous to fight for the equality of everyone, for gender equality, for the equality of the caste, creed, and so forth. So he literally fought against inequality, gender inequality, the caste inequality, and so forth. So what made the Buddha so courageous? And he did that at the cost of, people, many people who are being really chauvinistic about their gender, about the caste, creed. So they all started to turn against the Buddha, and still the Buddha stood so firm, so courageously. Otherwise, he did not really have to fight for equality, because he was a prince. He's enjoying the best of the privileges in the time. He did not have to fight. He did not have to risk his own life, but he risked his life. Many people, they turned against him, although he was being revered as the fully awakened one, as a prince. Yet people turned against him because there were so many people who were extremely the male chauvinist, and people who believe in caste, who very strongly advocate the caste system, and these people, they were totally against the Buddha. Okay, so with this, what made this Buddha so courageous to say that everybody's equal, everyone's equal? What made him so courageous to stand for the equality? Because he is convinced of the Buddha nature present in each one of us. Whether male or female, whether high caste, low caste, everyone has the same Buddha nature. The seed of perfection is within each one of us. So this is what he saw, and because of which he stood so firm against the inequalities. Okay. So now with this, we get some sense that my mind, yes, I don't see any Buddha nature within me, but from this example, yes, it does make sense that if my mind, the true nature, it can be very pure. But how can I know that it's pure? How can I know that? Example-wise, we can have both examples. That the true nature of my mind can be very pure, the true nature of my mind may not be pure with the example of the dirty water, and the true nature of my mind may not be too pure like the brass singing bowl, right? Of the two examples, which of the two holds true in the case of my mind, in the case of the mind of all the other beings, that each one of us, we have the Buddha nature. So for this, it takes all of us to Arya-Nagarjuna's text. Arya-Nagarjuna, 1st century AD, the enlightened being revered as the second Buddha, Arya-Nagarjuna. In his text, Dharma-Dadastava, in praise of the ultimate expanse, This is the title of the text. And of course in this book, The Blaze of Non-Dual Bodhicitta, in the Brahman book, all these texts are there. So it's a compilation of all these important texts. And this morning, I told you that I won't say you have to, but I would highly recommend that each one of you make sure that you have a copy of your own. So this is not, you will not find it anywhere. You will not find it in Amazon also. It's only available in Tibet House, Delhi. So here, our resident IT staff here, he brought all these books all the way from Delhi to here, and you are getting it just for a very minimal cost. It's not at all for the purpose of the profit. It's just to disseminate the knowledge. Yeah. Okay. So in this text, in Dharmadhatu Stava, in praise of the Dharmadhatu, or the ultimate expanse here refers to the Buddha nature, in praise of the Buddha nature. So there, Arya Nagarjuna gave a beautiful example. He said that say that you want to read the book, and it is totally dark. So I send you to room A and room B. You can go to any of the two rooms. In both rooms, there's a light there. You go to room A and it's very dark. You go to room B, yes, there's light there. And all the people I send, I ask them, where did you go? Everybody said, room B, not room A. Why not room A? It's dark. So I tell you, did you see a picture there? Picture put upside down like this. Yes, there's a picture there. Inside the picture, there's a light there. But you did not notice it. Inside the picture, there's a light there. How do you know there's a light there? So what should I do? You punch a hole. You punch a hole from any direction you like to this picture. What happens? Where you punch a hole, from there the light from inside will beam forth. This is indicator of the fact that there's a light inside there. Although it was truly dark initially, but the light is there from inside. And if you still don't believe in it, what should you do? Break the picture. Then the light will permeate in all 10 directions of the room. So the mental dirt, anger, attachment, craving, jealousy, ego, and so forth, these are like the mental dirt. This is like the picture. And inside that is the Buddha nature, the seed of perfection. As opposed to the darkness of ignorance, there's a light of the wisdom there. As opposed to the narrow-minded selfishness, there's the Adhicharya mind. As opposed to being so weak, there's a total power and strength there within this picture. So what should we do? We have to break this picture. You getting it? We have to remove the mental dirt so that the Buddha nature inside becomes manifest. What's your next question? Hey, what happened? Rachel? How to break the picture, or how to remove the mental dirt. So for this, let me give an example. Say that what advice would you give me? So sometimes when I buy new glasses, there used to be some stickers there, right? Company stickers there. When you remove the stickers, what happens? The stain or the glue is there. So I try to wash it. I cannot wash it. And I try to remove with my nails. It doesn't go away. So whatever advice would you give me? Hot water? It may succeed to some extent, but not fully. Anyone? Huh? Okay, in Tibet we don't have any alcohol. Huh? Detergent. We apply the detergent. What's the surf? Scrapped it, yes. Still not so successful. And if you scrap too much, the scrap is stronger than the last grass breaks.
Nail remover.
Okay. So, are you getting some sense what I'm trying to tell you? Huh? What I'm trying to tell you? Just tell me. What am I trying to tell you? Nice.
That you have to use a proper tool.
What is that?
That you have to use a proper tool.
Proper tool. Okay. So so to use the proper tool. But earlier I used to, when my hand is dirty, I put in water and it goes perfectly well. So this, it's not going away.
It's a different dirt.
Exactly. Before the tool, you have to identify the stain. Stain is different. You're getting it? To remove the stain, you have to first identify the stain. What a stain is like. So what kind of stain? Right? I don't see any grease in my mind. Right? What kind of stain is there? You're getting it? Attachment, anger, jealousy, ego, and so forth. These things are there. And sometimes, right? Sometimes someone is talking about, say, in the mathematics class. The teacher teaches you mathematics, and what is the teacher saying? 2, 3, just numbers flow in your mind, right? And nothing really comes to your mind. No calculation. Your mind is so dull, right? So these are the mental stains, your mental dullness, and sometimes your mind is not so fast, right? Some people they say, Geshe, you speak so fast. Please speak slower. Right? If I speak slower, then the course which we can finish in 1 week will take another 2 months. Okay, so the point is that I speak fast, your mind works slow. You're getting it? That's again another problem. There's again another stain. Sometimes the new cars they run so fast. Old cars they run so slow. Right? If you fix it still runs very slow. Right? So sometimes there's one time in Bodh Gaya. From Bodh Gaya we went for all the other cars. They're always running ahead of us. All the cars. I just thought, what happened to my car? That I came to discover that my car was running just like 20 kilometers per hour. Right? All the other cars must be like 80 kilometers per hour. So that's a problem. So our mind is slow. That's also because of the mental stain. So there are so many indications that we have the mental stains. So broadly speaking, to remove the mental stains, we need to first of all identify the mental stains. What the nature of the mental stains? What is the nature of the mental stains? And broadly speaking, we said that mental stains is of two kinds. The gross and the subtle. Gross and the subtle. And the gross one, to give an example, say that somebody smashed a garlic in my mug. Somebody smashed a garlic in my mug. So let's say that I don't take any garlic. And then there's who smashed garlic, I don't take garlic. And you own up, saying, I'm very sorry, I did it. And you go to clean this up. You remove the solid garlic, you wash it with the water so clean, rinse it so well. And now, is there any garlic inside? No garlic. No garlic there. With the finger you see, no garlic. You smell it? It still smells garlic. So, we see that the stain, there are two kinds. One which is the very gross, and the other which is like the smell of the garlic like stains, the subtle one. Two. Which of the two is easier to be removed? The gross or the subtle? Gross one. So, our mental defilements, there's a gross one which is easier to be removed. This is known as afflictive obscurations. Afflictive obscurations. And some of you may be wondering why it is known as afflictive obscurations. Don't worry. First, that is to this, that the gross one is known as afflictive obscurations. And subtle one is known as cognitive obscurations. Okay. The gross one, afflictive obscurations, it is first, on what basis we demarcate these afflictions into two? Not afflictions, mental defilements into two. The gross and the subtle. How many goals are there? How many goals do you have? How many goals do you seek? What are they? Nirvana and Buddhahood. Fearlessness and infinite happiness. Okay. Because there are two goals, how many of you have achieved these two goals? Raise your hands. How many have achieved one of these two goals at least? Okay, sometimes, I feel that I attain nirvana many times. Because getting away from complicated people. Once you are away from complicated people, I just feel like nirvana. Yeah, okay. So the point is that given that there are two goals there, and we have the capacity to attain these two goals, the fact that we have not attained means that there must be something blocking you from attaining these two goals. So the gross mental defilements referred to as the gross one referred to as afflictive obscurations, that blocks us from attaining the nirvana. That blocks us from attaining the fearlessness. And the subtle one blocks us from attaining Buddhahood or infinite happiness. Okay, now to go a little deeper, what constitutes the gross mental defilements referred to as afflictive obscurations? What are the afflictive obscurations? There are three kinds. The gross one is of three kinds. One is contaminated karmas, contaminated karmas, and number two is afflictions, and number three, active seeds of the first two. Contaminated karmas, afflictions, and the active seeds of the first two. These three are the afflictive obscurations. And oftentimes, some teachers, in some texts also, you find mention that the afflictive obscurations is consist of two, contaminated karmas and afflictions. That's also fine. The third one is implicitly indicated. Okay. So, like saying, what are the contaminated karmas? Karmas meaning actions, physical, verbal, and mental actions. They are referred to as the karmas. Contaminated karmas which are influenced by afflictions. Contamination here is the afflictions. And the karmas, the physical, verbal, and mental actions influenced by the afflictions is known as contaminated karmas. Okay, contaminated karmas in a loose sense, we see in a loose sense there's a mention of everything physically, what we do, verbally what we do, mental activities, they're all contaminated karmas that we engage in. And later on we'll also learn about what is known as the 10 non-virtuous karmas. Okay, for time being, just we'll stay away from this for time being. So the affliction is a mental. Okay, you are getting a lot of information within a short span of time, right? Affliction is a mental factor, the presence of which disturbs your mind. Affliction is a mental factor, the presence of which disturbs your mind. For example, say when the anger arises, your peace of mind is disturbed. For example, when the ego arises, you become inflated and you start to feel insecure. And likewise attachment, greed, craving, and so forth. So the belligerence, spite, all these mental defilements, the afflictions, when they arise within us, mental disturbance is created. So it's defined as a mental factor, the presence of which disturbs your mind. Okay, this is affliction, and these are examples. And the afflictions, do you see any correlation between afflictions and the contaminated karmas? Contaminated karmas are the physical, verbal, and mental actions, activities. And afflictions are the emotional states. Do you see any correlation between these two? Okay. What correlation do you see? Anyone? You want to? It infuses other. Yes. Anyone else? Yes.
The actions arise due to the affliction.
Very good. Actions arise due to the afflictions. Very good.
It's a positive correlation, right? As the afflictions increase, your contaminated karma will increase.
Okay, actions increase. Can you give me an example? That's good. Very good point.
As you get more angry, you might.
That's true.
Start shouting.
Exactly. Yes. Very good. Okay. So So, in other words, do you agree with me? What's your name?
Philip.
Philip. So, do you agree with Philip that there's a causal correlationship between the two? Causal correlationship. For example, okay, do you see what's going in my mind? You don't. Okay, now, do you see what's going in my mind? Do you see what's going in my mind? Huh? Huh? And then finally, okay, do you see what's going in my mind?
He was thirsty and looking for something.
I'm looking for something, and precisely, he must be feeling thirsty, right? He must be feeling thirsty, and he's looking for something to drink. And finally, my hand went out there. It is automatic or it is voluntarily going there? My hand is voluntarily going there. This is action or not? Physical action. So this action, what drove this action? Because of my desire for the water. So this desire for the water, in simple terms, it's an attachment. And let's say that I look at it and I see this. What is this? They say, I threw this away. I threw this tissue away. This is the action. This action, and then even with my facial expression, you see that he just hates it. The way he picks it like this, as though like he's a princess. Like this. Okay, so there we see that there's action there. So what drove this action? What caused this action? What drove the action? What triggered this action? What made my hand to move like this? Aversion to this object. Aversion. This emotion that triggered as a cause given rise to the action of removing the object. My attachment is the factor which serves as a factor to make the water come closer towards me. You getting it? So these actions are driven by the emotions, afflictions. So in other words, contaminated karmas are driven by the afflictions. These two are the causally related. Okay. And let's say that how many are angry now? How many are angry now? Not angry. Okay, so after this retreat, you go home, and then your mother says, "Wow." Usually, your mother, okay, my daughter, you let her a cup of tea. Usually, you say, "What cup of tea?" Right? And this time, after the retreat, you go there. Mother says, "Do you care for a cup of tea?" "Oh, Mom, please sit. You like a cup of tea? I'll serve you tea. Tea, coffee, do like. Wow, what a change. That's amazing, Bodhicitta. So what did you do? Right? What happened? How was your time in, what is it? Something, what is that? Oh, Thosamling, yes. Right? The mother will inquire you more. Okay, then the next door neighbor knocks the door and said, "Yes, sir. You threw garbage next to my door." Right? And then you remember Bodhicitta retreat here? Thosamling? "Oh, no. I just came." "No, you came and the garbage came there." Right? And then, okay. So once all the people to give me the hint, once you get a clue that I got you, don't do it second time. Okay. So then, you came and the garbage also came. Right? And then you say, no, I'm very serious. What serious? Right? Then, hey, mind your business. Right? Now you forgot the Bodhicitta. Okay, so there, look, these emotions arise. And instantly it disturbs your mind, peace of mind. Whereas your mother sees you as very calm, transformed, but the next door neighbor help you identify your, say, the mental problems inside. So with this, and then you said that you mind your own business, right? mind your own business, okay, enough is enough. So all these verbal attacks come, physical, the gestures also come, physical, verbal, all actions come because driven by the imprint inside. Okay, with this, what the point that I'm trying to share with you here is that there's no anger within you now. How come that going back, you meet with your next door neighbor and who blames you for the throwing garbage, and you say, then the anger arose. Where did this anger come from? From where did this anger come? When you enter something, no anger there. Huh? There's imprint there. You're getting it? While you are here in Thosamling, you do not have the manifest anger, but you have the imprint of the anger. You're getting it? So that's a third class of the afflictive obscurations. Contaminant karmas, afflictions, and the active imprints, active seeds. These active seeds, which can easily germinate into contaminant karmas and afflictions, these are known as the active seeds of the contaminant karmas and afflictions. Okay, so what we have discovered is that we have discovered the two goals that we are seeking, and the two obscurations which block us from attaining these two goals. You're getting it? And then the next one is the remedies to overcome these two obstacles. The remedies. Okay. What remedies? What are the remedies? What are the remedies? The first one, that the afflictive obscurations. How many kinds of afflictive obscurations are there? 3. What are they? Contaminant karmas, afflictions, and inappropriate attention. And all these 3, for your information, we will come to learn that this is all rooted to the ignorance. Ignorance. That all these 3 afflictive obscurations, they boil down to the ignorance. And ignorance at the root of all the afflictive obscurations, and the ignorance gives rise to the offshoots. And the ignorance has subtle stains. Now all the ignorance along with the offshoots, they are known as the afflictive obscurations, and the subtle stains left by the ignorance, they are known as the cognitive obscurations. So given that all the mental defilements, somehow they are either the ignorance, the offshoots, or the subtle stains. Somehow all the mental defilements are related to the ignorance. Given that the ignorance is the manifestation of all these mental defilements, what would be the remedy to ignorance? This is my next question. Anybody? Wisdom. Okay. I think I shared this yesterday with you, that when you apply the remedies, we have to make sure that we know the respective counter forces. We have to know the nature of the defilements. For example, say if you want to read books, there's no light there, you have to light the candle. You have to light. You have to introduce some light. This is the only way if you want to read books in the night. You have to introduce some light. So just by saying prayer, Buddha, please remove the darkness. If the Buddha is sitting next to you, and the Buddha would be very upset, what a hopeless follower. Whereas if you light a candle, he'll be very happy. Right? So the point is that we should be smart. So to remove the ignorance and its offshoots, all the subtle stains, the only remedy lies in the wisdom. So we have to introduce the wisdom. What is the wisdom? This is the next question. What is the wisdom? The wisdom is the discerning mind, whose apprehension of the object tallies with reality. Wisdom. What is wisdom? Wisdom is a discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with reality. Wisdom is a discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with reality. What's the reality? This next question. Okay, so the reality is the reality of emptiness, which we are going to study more extensively over this the 7-day course. Okay, so from this we come to know that the wisdom is the wisdom of emptiness. The wisdom of emptiness is the only solution to the problem, to all our problems. Only solution. It's for this reason that it is the wisdom of emptiness is referred to as the only liberating path. All the paths that we follow can be classified into two: liberating path and the ripening path. Liberating path and the ripening path. What is the liberating path? In all traditions, across the traditions, you can say that the wisdom of emptiness is the liberating path. This is the only liberating path. Whereas all other paths, such as bodhicitta, generosity, ethical discipline, patience, and so forth, all these things, they fall under the category of the ripening paths. For example, say, if somebody was to cut the tree, cut the poisonous tree, a huge poisonous tree, we need the one which cuts it is the axe. Our hand will not cut. The foot will not cut. Only the axe will cut. But there should be somebody to pick up the axe with the determination, with the enthusiasm. So there should be the person, and that person should have energy. For that person needs food. And person also needs the space to rest sometimes. So all these things are the factors to make this, the axe work. So axe is the one which cuts the tree. All others are the ripening factors. Factors to assist the axe to cut the poisonous tree. So we see that the paths of two kinds. One is known as the wisdom, which is also referred to as the liberating path, and all others are referred to as the ripening paths. Okay, this is what we need to keep in mind. And which is easier to be done, PhD or high school? High school, whether you like it or not, you have to finish it in most cases. But PhD, generally speaking, until you have the very strong determination, it's not that easy. You have to spend minimum, like after college, minimum 5-6 years you have to spend. So you need to have this much of the determination. So which of the two poisonous tree is bigger? Poisonous tree of the afflictive obscurations and the poisonous tree of the cognitive obscuration. Which is more difficult to cut? The poisonous tree of the cognitive obscuration. This is more difficult to be cut. So therefore determination should be, the X remains the same. The same X, but the determination should be much, much, much more strong. So the determination to cut the afflictive obscuration is known as Bodhicitta. The determination required to cut the cognitive obscuration is known as Bodhicitta. Determination required to cut the tree of the cognitive obscuration is known as Bodhicitta. Bodhicitta. And what is Bodhicitta? Bodhicitta is a mental state wishing to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. A mental state wishing to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. Okay. Now, what is that determination known as, which is required to cut this smaller tree of the afflictive obscurations? That is known as renunciation. Renunciation. Renunciation is the desire to be freed from all the miseries. Renunciation is the desire to be free from all the miseries. Bodhicitta is the desire to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. Okay. Now, What do you think to cut the subtle smell like, to remove the subtle smell like the metal defilement, which is like the subtle smell of the garlic like subtle smell of the garlic like metal defilement? To remove that, is it necessary to remove the solid garlic or not? Yes or no? Yes. Which means that to remove the cognitive obscuration, you must have to remove the afflictive obscurations. So to remove cognitive obscuration, what do you need? You need two things. One is the liberating path, and the other one is ripening path, determination. What is the liberating path? Wisdom of emptiness. And what is the determination required to cut the cognitive obscuration? Bodhicitta, right? So, to have the bodhicitta, you must have the renunciation. To have bodhicitta, you must have the renunciation, but to have renunciation is not necessary. You should have the bodhicitta. Some people, they simply want to remove the solid garlic-like metal defilements. They're not really eager to get rid of the metal stains, subtle stains. So for them, just to be fearless, to attain the fearlessness, that's good enough. They don't really seek to the infinite happiness. Some people, but if you seek infinite happiness, you must seek the fearlessness. Whereas if you seek fearlessness, it is not necessary that you should attain the infinite happiness. Okay, you got it? Okay, so now quickly revising what we did earlier. So what are the two goals that we are seeking? Fearlessness and infinite happiness, technically referred to as nirvana and Buddhahood. And what are the two obstacles which obstruct you from what is obstacle which obstructs you from attaining nirvana? Afflictive obscurations. And what is obscuration which obstructs you from attaining Buddhahood? Cognitive obscurations. What are the classifications of the afflictive obscurations? Quantum karmas, afflictions, and active seeds of the two. Okay. And what about the cognitive obscurations? What are the classifications of cognitive obscurations? What are the classifications of the cognitive obscurations? Huh? What happened? with the afflictive obscuration, you are so active. With the cognitive obscuration, you become cognitively inactive. What happened? What are the classifications of the cognitive obscurations? That is the afflictive obscurations. That is not the classification, it is the illustration. Huh? You should have said, you did not teach us yet. It's not at all taught. Why are you struggling to look for something? Right? Okay, so what exactly is cognitive obscuration? This is a point. This is a very important point, and oftentimes this huge debate amongst the scholars who have been studying, reflecting, meditating on emptiness for the last 20, 30 years. So, who's going to volunteer to remind me of what exactly is cognitive obscurations? That's why I gave you the example, the smell of the garlic. But what exactly is cognitive obscurations? Who's going to remind me? Raise hands. One there, two here. Okay, so let's have the fresh hands, not the one who raised your hands for the earlier points. Okay, any fresh hands to remind me? One here, two, three. Okay, make sure that all of us identify these people. So that later on, if I don't touch this question, I'm not responsible. Right? Okay, we stop here. Om Gade Gade Paragate Parasangate Bodhi Swaha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam